What's going on, Pickers and Grinners? Tom here. Today we're looking at a hot topic in guitar. Is tone in the hands or does it come from somewhere else? And we're going to use the band Lynyrd Skynyrd as a way to really prove that tone is in the hands. 3 different guitar players, and a lot of times each guitar player would have their own solo in a song, so you can differentiate the tones in each song and who's playing what solo. The example I'm going to start with is the song Comin' Home. Allan Collins has the first solo with a Gibson Firebird. Gary Rossington has the ending solo with a Gibson Les Paul. But you're going to see here how I'm able to create Allan's tone and Gary's tone without changing guitars. I'm also going to break out my Firebird and show you how I can get Gary's sound with a Firebird as well as Allan's. Comin' Home is that song that sounds like this. And then you got the solo, Allan's first solo. Here it goes. Oh, I love that solo. It's so fat. He's playing that on a Firebird. And then we have Gary Rossington's solo at the end, which sounds a lot more beefy with those Les Paul humbuckers. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, 2 very different solos. Now, you can see that I was able to create that tone without changing my amp settings. All I did was change how I attacked the neck and also played around with the volume knob, and that gives me a whole wide range of tones. Now I've got my Firebird out, and I'm going to play both solos with this, give you an idea what both sound like and how I can create Gary's sound with a Firebird. Okay, now let's go into Gary's solo. Okay, 2 very different sounding guitars, but one of the things you might notice is how the Gary sounds a lot more smooth, Allan sounds a lot more clean, and I don't want to say choppy, but he picks more notes. And then you got the solo, Allan's first solo, here it goes. Classic example. And then we got Allan solo. Same settings, nothing's changed. So, same settings, very different sound to it. So we're back in the land of humbuckersville, and we've covered Allan and Gary. What about Ed? So Ed was the strap player on the team, and he also played some humbucking guitars. And just look at his technique on the neck. So I use Sweet Home Alabama as a good example for Ed because it shows off his rhythm, it also shows off his lead, and how he attacks the neck with his picking hand. So, first solo. And if I was to play that like Gary or Allan, it would not sound like that. You can hear Ed's distinct. It's a little bit choppier. He's got that snappy type sound. Sometimes he's playing with a C shell for a pick, to give you an idea. And even that ending solo, you can hear a lot of his little bits. Wow, a lot of right-hand technique going on right there to create those unique sounds. Once again, same guitar, 3 different guitar players covered already. And lastly, I'm going to give you an example where Allan and Gary have a solo back to back, and I'll show you how I navigate that just by changing how I play with both hands on the neck. Changing up my hands to change the tone. So it's the song Searchin', and the Gary solo starts off, then it goes right into Allan solo. You'll see when I switch pickups here. I mean, where else can you go from to without changing anything with the guitar or the amp? That's all in the hands. How else does it happen? Well, what about if you gave anybody any type of guitar? Like, let's say you gave Jimmy Page my guitar. He'd make it sound like Jimmy Page. If you gave Jimmy Page a crappy $20 guitar off of eBay that was in somebody's yard, and it's got rusty strings, and he plugs it into an amp and it's tuned up, he's still going to sound like Jimmy Page. The same goes for any type of guitar player. Gary, Allan, Ed, just anybody. Hendrix, just give him a guitar. Other people, there was a guy one time, he lent me his guitar, and I just was playing around with it, and he's like, wow, that guitar sounds really good. He's like, how do you get it to sound that way? And I said, I don't know, it's just me playing it. And so he was like thinking, wow, you know, I'm going to work on my hand technique to fatten up the sound. And I told him it's in the hands, really, because I was sitting there just playing around Gary, Allan, Ed, like I'm showing you here, changing up the styles. And it was all in this technique and how I attack the neck with both hands. So perhaps this was an eye-opener for you. Think about your tone. The way you develop your tone is by building it up in your hands, grabbing an ear for it, and then seeing how you can use the picking hand to change what it sounds like here, and also using the fretting hand to see how you can alter the sound. It's a great way to further your guitar playing. So thanks again for tuning in, and I hope you have a rockin' week.